Um, Mariana, wonderful to have you here with us. And thank you for doing this live coaching session and giving our coaches the opportunity to learn something from a master coach. I thought I'd engage with you a bit in your profile or in your background. Are you okay to do that?
Absolutely.
So you've been past president for ICF Ireland.
Yes.
And made some huge waves around that, yeah?
Yeah, and I would say to any coaches on the call to be involved in your local chapter. And yeah, you'll feel part of a global community. Yeah.
And a PhD in cultural change, right?
Yeah, it's actually about rave culture and how rave culture changed a chunk of society. Yes, so, but yeah, no, I'm glad that I did it when I did it, because now I don't think I would have the stamina. And I know I'm speaking to you, Cindy, going through, but it's a long process, but very, very rewarding.
Yeah, I could imagine. You're right about that. If you don't do it at the time that your focus is in it. And also, Mariana, your clients are mostly corporate clients at the moment. Currently, it's mostly corporate?
I would say a mixture, actually. So I work with a lot of corporate clients around the world on leadership. I then have a contract in the civil service in Ireland with senior leaders. And I do work with coaches as well to help them get credentials and do supervision and work like that. So probably a mixture of 3 client areas.
Yeah. And I noticed, you also have a presence group. Is that what it's called? A closed group on coaching presence.
Please join. So I have a group on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook called Coaching Presence, and we have some live guests and interesting conversations. It's not the whole business of coaching or marketing. It's about this work and connection we do as coaches. So if you're interested in the work, then please join us.
And I've come to know a lot about you, so I want to do an acknowledgement. The one thing I love about you, amongst many, 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 is your presence and your warmth and how much you give off when you coach. And I'm looking forward to participants, coaches on this call, getting that experience from you today.
I really hope that I can share that with you. I've had this, you go yes to these opportunities because it's wonderful. I know watching other people coach is a wonderful experience. And then you have to then step into the spotlight and do it. And with all of that it entails. So I hope that I can share that with you. And Cindy, you helped me develop that and realize that. So a huge amount of gratitude to you.
Thank you. And did you see I wore the green for you today?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Welcome to the call, and thank you from all over my heart. Thank you for stepping up and being our client today. You are mute.
Thank you, Cindy, and I feel privileged to be a client. Absolutely. I'm speaking off my cell phone, and I'm trying to get onto my laptop, but we can continue until I get onto my laptop and then just change what I'm using. But I'm good to go for now.
You're good. You're quite clear on your cell phone. Just want to tell you that.
Okay, that's great. I'll just switch on the light.
Yes.
Okay,
and,
so I am here.
Yeah. And Mariana is an awesome coach. I'm going to stay off video and engage the participants in the background. And Mariana, we'll coach about 40 minutes or so, giving us enough time to do some discussion and our participants can ask you some questions. Is that okay?
Yeah. So tell me, help me. I have a real block about adding up time. So are we going till about 1:15?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're in a different time zone. Sorry.
So no, it's good. It's good. I'm thinking in India time. That's right.
Okay.
But 10 past, 1:15, right? 1:15 would be good. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
Okay. Over to you.
Thank you. How are you feeling right now? I think when I see you on screen, when you speak, your image will pop up. At the moment, I've still got Cindy showing.
Okay.
There we go. Just before we get going, I'm wondering, can I just ask a question? I'm making an assumption that you're a coach in training, or are you a coach right now? Or
Okay, thanks, Anna. So I believe that a coach in training, because the journey, I don't believe I've arrived. I still have a lot to go. I'm PCC, but I believe I'm on this journey of exploration.
Okay. We're all on a journey, and yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. And knowing that, then, I just wonder what we need to do to help us land in this space right now, and kind of block out everybody else that's tuning in and watching. What do we need to do to arrive here together?
Okay. I think firstly, I need to stop focusing on trying to get onto my laptop and work with what we have and make the best of it. So I'm just getting myself into the zone, I think, of being here with you.
Wonderful.
I am here. I feel present, and I feel very privileged to be having this session with you.
And I just feel delighted that you're here. Thank you for stepping up. Yes, I can see you perfectly well. Do not worry about the laptop. The phone is just what we need. Do we need to do anything else? I still feel slightly jittery. Are you feeling okay? I think I need to take a breath.
Okay, so let me do likewise. Take a breath, and yes, I'm here. I'm present. I'm feeling present. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. So you're a coach and you're used to the whole process of contracting. What else do we need to think about our work today? What's important to you?
I think for me to really, if I could say, open my heart when I feel vulnerable about listening to everybody listening into me. So I feel slightly vulnerable, but yet at the same time, I want to be able to open my heart about what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
So just a safety net, perhaps.
Okay. And what would that safety net need to be like?
Just for if I say something that needs to be held in confidentiality, that would be maintained. I don't want to monitor every word I say, but perhaps if I just have that assurance, then I would be comfortable.
Okay. Well, you certainly have that assurance from me, and I'm aware that there is a lot of other people in the room. And I'm presuming, but I don't know because I've not been part of this process before, that something has been said to other people joining. But can we just ask everybody to hold the content of this session in confidence, please? I'm almost imagining, actually, as I did that with my hands, I'm almost imagining drawing curtains around everybody else and just absolutely focusing on you. I don't know whether there's anything else that we need to do.
That's great.
Yeah, I've got you. I'm here. The more I do that in my head, the more I'm there with just you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. And thank you to everybody listening on the platform. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. And do you have something that you'd like to, that's a silly question because you wouldn't have stepped up if you didn't have. What would you like to use our time for today?
Okay. Well, actually, that's a good question, because as I put my hand up, I thought, well, go from your gut. Just put your hand up and say yes. But it's a good question, and I just want to pause for a few seconds before I answer that. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. So I've lived a life that has been, you know, if I had to go back, I wouldn't live it any differently. I'd live every moment of my life, every act, just the same way that I am living right now, you know, that I have showed up in my life for. I'm 62 years old, and I just have 2 years and 10 months to retire. And I really believe that I'm at the pinnacle of my career. I've been given amazing opportunities in the past few years, and currently I'm really being asked to do so much more and feeling so recognized and so valued for the work that I do in leadership development. As I say, I wouldn't do anything differently. So I started my life journey in nursing. So nurturing, caring for people is what I was born into. My mom said I did that from the time I was a little girl. I found true value in nursing. And then as I went through a few bumps in my career of work that I didn't really feel satisfied and actualized in, I bore with it, but I learned opportunities out of there. And now that I'm in this prime of a career of feeling so contributory, I'm just wondering about myself. Sometimes I wonder, am I too maternalistic, too paternalistic, as it were? And how will I end up into the next phase of my life?
And out of that wondering, what's the question today?
So what's next? Okay. Where to from here? Where to from here?
Where
and
to
how
from
do
here?
I, yes, and perhaps how do I fulfill and ensure that what I have to do in the next 2 years and 10 months is like a whack of a contribution, because that's what I'm looking for, a whack of a contribution and a big bang out.
The grand finale.
Yes.
I love that, because it's an idea of really ending one phase with a big whack and then setting up for the next phase. And a lot of energy there with that as well, that there's an excitement in you as you say that.
Yes.
So I get the sense of the kind of overall theme of our conversation. Where do you want to get to with your thinking today?
Okay, I'd like to pause and to reflect in my eagerness and in my enthusiasm to do more and to have this big bang approach. Am I being too, as I said, I'm not sure of the right word, and actually I still don't know that I know what paternalistic and maternalistic and patriarchal means. Because so for me, I think that would be important for me to say, in the work that I'm doing with the time that I have left, how am I coming across? Is this eagerness and passion that I have not overruling, or do I have blind spots in terms of what I'm doing and how I'm doing the work that I need to do? Am I overpowering? Those are the questions I ask myself. Am I too pushy?
Am I too pushy? Am I overpowering?
Am I over nurturing? So on the Enneagram, I am a helper, the helper type. So.
And why are those questions important?
Because I am aware that I can be maternalistic. I can play an over-nurturing role. I might get into a space of being over pushing, if I could say, or coercing people to do something that they don't want to do. But I have to say it's working so far. And it's important because that is not my intention. My intention is to make an impact, not to do this pushy thing. And also, I guess for me, it's important because how do I leave a legacy, and how do I leave somebody else in the organization or a team of people equipped to do what it is that is being set now? Because it has a long horizon. It has a horizon up to 2025 in terms of the strategies that I've developed.
Okay. There's lots of things coming up for me as I hear you speak. And there's this need for legacy, and there's a kind of curiosity about the way you work and the impact of the way you work, and whether you're to this or to that or that. And then this need for the grand finale. Is there anything else that you want to be thinking about?
Well, I have to share, and as I said, I speak from the heart. I being the Enneagram type that I am, and not like solely living it by it or being forced to think by it, but it's how I feel. And I have the fear of, if I don't do something right, then the whole fear of rejection and the whole fear of not being worthy comes up for me.
Okay. Okay. Feels like we're getting into deeper territory now. And I just want to check in with you if you're okay around this, with our curtains drawn around us.
Yes. I'm very comfortable. Thank you.
Okay.
Mary.
Okay. So we've got a lot to think about, and we've got a wonderful opportunity today. Where do you want to focus? What's at the core of all this for you?
Okay, so I think the legacy, and in that is the impact.
Okay.
I think that would be really important to focus on, and I guess the rest is something I can work with and deal with. But I think, how do I leave this legacy of sustainability, of really value add?
Okay. So a legacy of sustainability and value add, and anything else about this legacy that's important?
I think it's the legacy for me is, as I shared, the strategy we have for leadership development, and particularly women in leadership, spans into 2025. But perhaps what's coming in to that is that the men in the organization also want to be part of it, because when I've socialized it, they said, but this applies to all of us as human beings and individuals. And I'm thinking, so that legacy is almost like not just encompassed in the work that I'm doing with women in leadership, but perhaps at a broader level, to say, how does this legacy unfold in the organization? And that is what I'm nurturing and hoping and wanting to land, so that even when I'm not there, it carries on.
Okay. And how will you know that you've got a legacy that can unfold in the organization?
Okay. I think firstly it would be to look at where are we currently. So, where are we currently? And I think the organization I work for has been through quite a difficult, quite a challenging time. So I would know that we're getting somewhere. So when I speak about the legacy, it's not necessarily me as an individual, but rather the work that I'm doing that leaves the legacy. So it's a whole team of people. So I think when we start seeing a shift in people's behaviors, start seeing a shift in employees' response to how they engage with managers, when we see people living by the values of respect to each other. And as I often say, it's a tough one, but I know I feel it in me when I say, when we see that the organizational soul is being restored.
Oh, wow. The organizational soul is being restocked. That's filling me with a sort of a real buzzy kind of energy. What's happening as you hear me reflect that back? What's happening for you?
I agree. It is a busy energy. And I guess that brings us back to the expediency and the big bang that I have.
Okay. And how does this organizational, this piece, how does that relate to the big bang that you want?
Okay, so the big bang is the actual, is I believe that when we hit the big bang that we have to work on is about restoring the organizational soul.
Is it the big bang itself?
It is the big bang itself, because I think we can't go in microcosms and little pieces of events and initiatives. It has to be like this whole chain of things, and something that makes the move. And yeah, I think Mary Anna, for me, that and now that I speak about it, I hear myself for the first time saying it this way. I always said restore the organizational soul, but it's never come home to me so reflectively until I've had this conversation with you, because restoring the soul is the big bang. How will I know? Is when I see people's behaviors changing, when I see leaders acting in a way that is different, and getting back to what we once were. Because we did have an organization that was like a wow and talked about in the country. And as I say, that was eroded, and now it's about restoring that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it feels like we've got this clearer picture of what the legacy is. And I'm wondering today where you want to get with your work towards creating that legacy.
So if I have to recap that, I firstly, when I say leaving a legacy, and we've come to the point, is about restoring the organizational soul. I feel deeply, deeply emotive about it. I feel my skin just in bumps, I feel like goosebumps all over me. Because that is the legacy. That is the big bang. That is where I want it to go. And and suddenly I'm thinking, so if that is where I want to go, perhaps it's going to take more of me being pushy, being paternalistic, being powerful in what I do. Yes. And as I say that, help me, guide me, because I say that with the breath. And then when I say it, I think, oh, okay, but that's not what you want to be. You can be that way. So how do I get that balance? For me, I think is something I'd like to work with today.
Okay. And I'm noticing a real, I feel like I'm catching your emotion. I'm feeling almost tears coming actually at the thought of this, restoring the organizational soul. I'm wondering, you described the goosebumps. What's that telling you about this, the balance that you want here?
No, because it's probably the ultimate gift I can leave and the ultimate gift I can give to myself.
Okay.
And I feel deeply emotional about this because I moved from one province to another with a very young family. And we lost our child. We lost our daughter when she was 16 years old.
Oh, goodness.
And I've always felt difficult, and I've always asked myself, so if we didn't move, would it have still been okay? And suddenly I feel, if I'm here for this purpose, and I don't want to be the Mother Teresa and the savior of all, but if I'm here for this purpose, and if my contribution is being felt and I'm being given feedback on that, then that is where I want to go. I think that would be for me the ultimate gift that I leave in the work of world and to myself.
Okay. And what else?
When I say that, I feel like, oh, that is it.
Okay.
That is for me.
Okay. So, what needs to happen?
I think from a planning perspective, from a conceptualizing perspective, everything's in place.
Okay.
And it has been approved by the highest level in the organization. I think these feelings that I have about being overpowering, etc., comes from me. And I think that's what needs to happen, is I need to manage and work with that. And now that I know what my legacy is about, I think all that needs to happen is me to feel more comfortable with what I'm doing, and perhaps to pause and reflect more often about what I do and how I do it.
Okay. And how might that materialize? What would that look like?
I think for me, it would be probably useful if before I did something or I do something, is to maybe reflect, what is my intention? For me to ask myself that, what is my intention of this particular discussion or request? So I think, sorry, do you mind if I take a note or two, please?
Of course. Of course. You were saying, what is your intention?
Yes.
And I'm wondering, a question's coming up for me about what balance do you want to strike?
So I would like to strike a balance. If I look at the whole legacy of restoring the organizational soul, the balance for me is I would have to give direction.
Mm.
and give direction and guidance. And in the same way, I'd have to balance the other person's understanding of what it is that I'm trying to share. I think that would bring about balance, inviting others into the space that I'm in, because I often feel, now that we speak about it, is that perhaps it's just at a higher level, and I need to bring it down to a level that everybody can partake in. Okay. So I think that would be the balance, is yes, I do have the concepts, but perhaps to balance that, to make sure that others understand it in the way that I've conceptualized it. Or
And
we as leaders.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You've clearly got a really clear sense, an embodied sense of the organizational soul. And I'm wondering how that can be articulated to others. I think it is well articulated in the broader organizational strategy, because we have a very easy, memorable, wake up in the morning kind of, the first thing in your head is, this is my vision. Okay.
You know, we speak about a higher purpose in the organization that I work for. Okay. And the higher purpose is very focused, and we often say, you know, it's easy enough to remember, so it's well articulated, but I'm not so sure that we know how to live into it. And what does it actually mean?
Yeah. Yes. And that the difference between being articulated and being embodied, being lived. Yeah. It's okay having a set of values that's on the office wall, but how does that pan out in every day?
And I think that's what we have. Sorry.
I interrupted you really badly. I'm excited for you. Sorry.
Let's blame it on the let's blame it on the Zoom time that we have.
Yes, we'll do that.
You know, the uptake. So I've lost my thought. I'm sorry. I reached to put the light on, but it's fine. Please go ahead. I'll gather it again.
We were talking about that, the organizational soul being embodied, and I'm kind of, there's something coming up for me, which is, well, if it's about restoring it and it's that well articulated, how's it been lost? What's happened? What needs to come back? If it's there and everyone knows what it is, what's missing?
Look, and this is just my view that I'm expressing. I think we were really eroded from being this organization with a soul. I also believe we're on a path of recovery. You can see that in the interactions. You can see that by the responses of people. So there is some movement, because I've taken on this concept that I'm implementing from June last year, and I can already see the movement. But what needs to happen is, I think we need to have more of our leaders, more of our employees involved in this, and take ownership for it. And what has been particularly hard is the whole COVID in the last year, and what's happening there. So I think that whole sense of belonging, that sense of togetherness, is a difficult phase right now. So I think that's one piece that is difficult to get, and allow people to really live in and act and do what it is they need to. So yeah, I think what needs to happen is really people to, people to believe that we can get there, we can do this, we can restore.
Okay. And what's your role in that?
Give direction, be pushy, tell. No, with a balance, with an absolute balance. And I'm going to pause and reflect, to ask, what is my intention? Where am I going with this? Before I do it. And I don't do that often enough. I just believe, like, okay, go, get done. And as I said, it goes back to the starting point, is that I have that much time left in the organization.
Okay.
So I think for me, pause, reflect, balance my what I have to contribute with what others are understanding, what they might need, what might they need to absorb before we go into this big bang approach.
It feels like you have an awful lot of resource available to you, your ability to reflect and to think deeply on this stuff. Is there anything else that you're going to need to help you here?
So this is like completely out of I'm not sure if I'd be responding correctly to what you're asking. But anything else that I would need is, yes, I would need resources, because at the moment I work on my own, and I tap into the functional families that we have, and I'm very good at doing that. And that's where I wonder that. So that's where I wonder if I'm being overpowering, because I say we've got to do this by this, and then. So at the moment, I'm trying to get more resources allocated to myself so that I can then be less invasive in other people's spaces, or less asking.
So it's something coming up perhaps about making it so compelling that people are keen to get involved, and you'll get those resources that way. Something about, that balance with how you nurture versus direct. Something in that.
So maybe that's the one piece that is important in this. Now that we're speaking about it, I didn't see it like that. Is that in leaving a legacy, in leaving this organizational soul, I have to do it through the existing functions that we have. So I'm almost taking the pedal off my feeling of pushy too much, asking too powerful, etc. I'm taking my foot off that pedal a little bit to think, but that is how you're doing it. That just came up for me. So it doesn't make it wrong, provided that I can do it with pause, reflect, and balance.
Okay. And there's something important about this pause, reflect, and balance, isn't there? In this, because that will, I get a sense of that, and I'm wondering how this ties in with your original hope for our work together today. Where are you at?
So I'm actually, I have some clarity in my mind. And actually, not some, I have a lot of clarity in my mind. Because I know what is it that I'm working towards? I know what my legacy is. And for the first time, I found it while I sit and have all these wonderful concepts. I've never found my legacy. What is it? I talk about it, but now I know what it is. So I've found that. I've also found that what I was fearful and what I was thinking about in terms of being overpowering, etc., etc. And I drew it up here in a little diagram for myself in the tripod.
This.
Yeah, to say pause, reflect, balance, and in the middle of it, then I have my intention right. If I pause, reflect, balance. So the core of the intention is right if I have those three elements brought together. So that's where I am. I have clarity in my mind, and I have something to deal with when I'm feeling uncertain.
As we're coming towards the end of our time, I'm just wondering, what's important about this step forward in thinking for you? In terms of yourself and the way that you operate.
Okay. To perhaps be, I can be very hard on myself. And I can judge myself quite harshly. So I think it's to hold myself lightly when I talk about my legacy. And now that I know, I have some clarity in my mind. It sounds right to me to say, hold yourself lightly, because that's your intention.
Hold yourself lightly. And is there anything else that we need to do today to wrap things up and to allow you to hold yourself lightly going forward?
So I just have to write that down, because I need to hold self lightly. This has been very useful. It's given me clarity. It's helped me deal with something that I was very ambivalent and confused about. So for me, I feel the session has been very useful, and really, I'm just a little more happier than I was when we started, and more excited about the work I'm doing.
And I'm seeing a passionate woman that really believes in the soul of the organisation. Thank you for tonight.
Thank you very much. Hi, sorry, Mary Anna, apologies. The phone started ringing at that moment.
Don't worry.
I want to say thank you for the opportunity to Coacharya. I feel very privileged to have been coached by you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy and Magda. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mariana. You said, can I continue the conversation that you just had? You said
Yes,
you
sure.
feel, you were feeling, you're sharing a whole lot of emotions and gratitude that you had. What is it you're taking away from the conversation today for yourself?
Two things. Clarity of what my remaining years in the organization means to me and what I want to achieve. And I think holding myself lightly, Cindy, because that can be very heavy when you make it heavy for yourself. And the whole thing about pause, reflect, and balance. I mean, I know it, but I don't do it. I needed to be reminded. I needed to be held in a space where I can acknowledge it for myself.
I also want to acknowledge you for how you showed up, and even though there were some interruptions, we were quite surprised to see that you had drawn a diagram. And it kind of, you were talking, thinking, drawing, a lovely total experience there that you were creating for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mariana, while I invite the participants to raise any questions for you, that was a beautiful experience, Mariana. It was a joy watching you. At a very slow pace, just being there totally partnered with your client. And I know that time would have probably been a big factor for you to be mindful of. Was it? Yeah, no?
There was one point where I was thinking, we have this arc in our coaching sometimes, and I suddenly felt that we were getting really to the heart of things before I was perhaps quite ready with kind of firming up some of my contracting around things. But I think sometimes you have to let go of, in a way that was talking about too much this, too much that, too much the other. Sometimes we have to let go of, or should have, would have, could have, and just think, okay, well, what's coming up now? And let's go with it now. And that's really what I tried to do at that point, where we got to the soul of the organization piece. So.
It's quite insightful, for all of us, because I think all of us as coaches feel that at some point, where we're just holding, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Can I ask this? Maybe I should have gone into that. Yeah, absolutely. With you on that. So, are you noticing any questions there, Mariana?
Let me have a look. Oh.
How do you keep your pace so beautifully slow and mindful?
Okay. You ask the questions and I'll think of the answers, if that's okay, Cindy. So through mentoring, I notice, and through feedback, and I do a lot of work on Zoom, and I'd had some supervision that pointed this out to me, and some work with Cindy that pointed this out to me, that I did have a tendency to sit forward and really fix my expression. So at the moment, I deliberately make myself change my body position. And I noticed that if I can shift my body position and sit down, I'm trying to change my breathing. And I'm really focused on the breath and being present. And actually, I tend to hold myself as a way of reminding myself, because else my head gets in the way and I go straight into my brain and I'm thinking, what's the next question? What does this mean? Blah, 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 blah. And if I have to consciously go into my body a little bit. So it may feel a little bit over slow at the moment, but that's what I have to do, because I'm a head person. I live here normally. So it's a very deliberate move to go a bit deeper into myself.
It was very enjoyable watching you ask about the goosebumps, that you went there and asked, what are the goosebumps saying? And what was enjoyable about it was there was an appearance of a lot of thinking and a lot of emotions, and it felt like there was a little piece about the goosebumps, and you didn't miss that.
Yeah, I think I had a different emotion coming up. I felt a little bit tearful at that point. There was something coming up for me, but it's a very, because I don't tend to inhabit my body very much, I try and make a conscious effort with the head, notice the word conscious effort, to help my clients pick up on some of these signals within their own body, because I'm always having to work on it myself. And there is a lot of wisdom here. There's a lot of stuff. And if we can kind of tune into it, I think there are clues about what's important, how we might address issues and all of that stuff. But it's too easy to just sit up here and forget it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a piece of wisdom that many coaches would walk away also. How in the midst of a lot of thinking and emotions, so still pay attention to what's going on in the body.
Yeah.
And pick that up.
I
Yeah.
think, Cindy, I think particularly when we're all working on Zoom, and I've always, because I live in quite a remote part of Ireland, I've always done a lot of work online. But I noticed the change with COVID, where all of my work became on Zoom, and I was focused on this much of my client and they were focused on this much of me, that you are needing to pick up on a lot of body language. And it was actually involved a lot of concentration as well. So, you know, but I'm kind of trying to get the balance, but it is a deliberate thing at the moment for me.
Is there anything sitting with you that I'm not engaging with you in that perhaps you want to share? Please go ahead.
There's some of the big kind of constructs in coaching that, you know, the competency stuff, I felt that I missed out on in that. So I didn't really get into, it was a bit clunky me asking around resources. I didn't really get into the potential what's stopping you stuff. I think the focus was perhaps on that unpacking of the soul of the organization. I think I could probably gone a bit deeper there, you know, to try and bring that alive a little bit more. I think that we both felt it. Her and I felt the soul of the organization, and I certainly had quite a physical response to that. But I think there might have been something in helping make it tangible, helping make that legacy more tangible. I don't know, that's a question probably for her, if that would have been helpful to her. I think that actually we got to define the legacy, and that was probably enough for that session actually.
You did ask a question on how would you know. So you did open the tangible question, but I guess there was something more as a priority showing up in client that you went on to pick up, which, you know, which between coach and client, between that partnering, there's always that call on what's more important for the client to engage with. Yeah.
It's also very important, I think. You know, one has a kind of an expectation, if you're giving a demonstration, that you are coaching in this amazing, masterful, whatever way, which brings with it a whole load of baggage. And actually, at the heart of this, I think, was that reflects the soul of the organization. And it's so clearly important to her that that was really our focus somehow. So some of the other competencies and ways of doing things didn't quite cut the mustard, if you like, because that was so important.
Yeah, because I guess you're holding many roles here, you know, masterful demonstration of coaching, being there fully for your client. And I'm pleased in a way that the role shifted to being there fully for your client.
Yeah. I think, someone in the chat just said about measures of success, and again, yes, that's some of those things weren't as well articulated as I would like, but this was a demonstration rather than an ICF submission. So I'm going to let myself off the hook about that one. I think that we can always, if we clarify our contract better, we always get a better session, because you know, you have something to hang things on, you have something to link back to at the end. So I think it is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Coaches, please type into the chat box, what are you taking away from today's session? What value are you taking away from today's session? Or learnings, value learnings are you taking away? Or just, what is there anything that you would like to say to round up, Mariana?
Well, I welcome the opportunity, so thank you for that. I would love coaches to join the Coaching Presence group. There's that. Really appreciated openness and vulnerability in stepping into a very deep and clearly core at the subject matter for her. That's it, really.
And please, would you share your details onto the chat, where they
Oh,
could
yeah.
join you?
Of course.
And anybody
So-
wants to connect with you, yeah, please, would you do that? Now, is there anything you would like to say to complete on today's call? I sound like a coach, but that's what I am.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, I think I've learned that as well, in terms of coaching, that it's important to stay with the client. I felt held, I felt supported, I felt Mariana following me through every step of it. So I really felt, I felt that I addressed what was important. I felt heard about what was important to me and how I was feeling. And I actually felt light when I left the conversation.
Thank you. Magda, you and Ram are here. Would you like to say anything?
I just want to say thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
As someone said in the chat, demos are a great way to learn, and definitely are. And it was just so nice to actually hear the conversation at the end between the two of you about, what you thought, what you were going through, because all of us were having different reactions listening to you. And, I still have goosebumps on my arm from that instance. So yes, thank you so much. We need more demos. I let everyone know in the chat, you can always email me, magda@coacharya.com. If you are a credentialed coach and you would like to offer yourself up to do a demo, we don't have to wait until our regular Wednesday webinars. People love watching demos because they're such a great learning experience. So if you're a coach and you want an audience to show off how great of a coach you are, and you have a client that will be willing to be coached live, please reach out. Our learners will appreciate it. All learner coaches and coaches who will see this will appreciate it. They don't have to work with Coacharya or be one of our learners to watch this. So please, magda@coacharya.com, reach out, volunteer as tribute. We will be very grateful. So thank you so much, Mariana. That was awesome. And thank you for jumping in.